ships, and Blind Views talks about Pittsburgh Chris.
That's Chris Google, man.
So that's the same guy, we think. And we think that it's not the same one that's running the Eye for Eye.
You think?
Maybe.
Could be.
But it's pretty funny stuff. You know, you got to be able to take a joke if you're doing this.
Well, I don't mind them. It's just the other tards. You know.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, all the stuff going on. But it's fun. It's very entertaining. And like I said, I cut my cable. There's so much stuff to watch on YouTube. A lot of times I also tell you guys about what movies like I've been watching. A lot of it's older movies. I like these vintage movies. Most of them are for free right over YouTube. So I don't even need to pay for cable.
You got YouTube Premium?
No, believe it or not, I haven't stepped up to premium yet. Well, the ads usually, after a few, like 5 seconds or something, you just skip it.
Yeah, I finally went to premium.
You went to the premium,
yeah.
Okay.
But you can watch the older movies right there on YouTube. And we were watching Candid Camera from the first couple of shows they ever did.
Oh yeah, I love that show. I used to watch that.
And I was thinking to myself, I said, I could make some YouTube videos just like that. I mean, they weren't very technical back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's almost
with the
like
technology. Nobody would ever imagine. Even when I went on the cruise in 2013, I did Majesty of the Seas. You couldn't even just to make a phone call from the ship costs like $5 a minute on the receiver, the old wired phone. There was no satellite on the ship. If you wanted to do a video, you needed a massive camera. I would never imagine the phone you could carry in your pocket would be able to make a video that's this good.
Yeah,
the way things changed. Back when they did Candid Camera, Candid Camera, I should say. You don't eat the camera. They probably had a camera about this big, and they must have had to like hide it in like a piñata or something.
Yeah, the funny part was, I think it was the first video, was when they pushed the lady down a hill in her car with no engine in it, and she pulled in and said she couldn't get it started. And the guy lifts the hood and there's no engine. He goes, "Hey lady, how'd you get in here?" "I drove it." It was crazy.
That show was a blast. I remember that stuff. Yeah, Candid Camera. Yeah, they did a reboot of it, I think, a few years back, but it wasn't. The original was the best. Definitely. I used to watch all those shows. Love Boat, Pacific Princess. That was the ship, guys. It was much shorter than the ship I was just on. That was actually a real small boat. Yep, the smaller might be better. Dinger said he's done the cruise. The one I just did on Elation. He's done that right here out of Jacksonville, right?
2 years back, 5 days,
Cool.
right? You hit
5 days.
two ports?
Yep, Bimini and Nassau.
Yeah, I hit Nassau and their little island, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had 2 days at sea. You got to enjoy the ship.
What you know the name of that? I can't remember the big fancy resort in Nassau.
Atlantis.
Yeah, we took that tour. Went over, not tour. We rode over there in the bus, and then the guy, even though I wasn't a member or registered, he looked around like this and he goes, he let me through, and I went through and I took some video up in there and all that. It's pretty neat.
Cool. That's the one that has the Michael Jackson suite. It's that bridge thing between the two buildings.
Yeah.
Way up high. That's quite a place. I filmed it. I was over there. I didn't get into the resort like Dinger did though. I walked around the gritty streets of Nassau. And locals were trying to sell me everything under the sun.
In the Navy, we used to call them Hey Joes when you could be over in Italy and Hey Joe, because they called us Joe, so we called them Hey Joes.
So did you were actually on Navy ships sailing in the ocean?
Yeah.
While you were in service?
Yeah, we did the Mediterranean, did the Gulf, and then not the Gulf of America.
Yeah, that was before we had a Gulf of America.
Yeah, Persian Gulf. And then my last cruise, we did around the world. We brought the ship from Norfolk all the way, not straight around. We spent some time in the Persian Gulf, quite a bit, and
Cool.
and then we hit Australia and Hawaii on the way out, so that was good.
Now, what kind of a ship were you on? How big are we talking? How long was
That
it?
was a USS Stennis, the carrier.
An aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I was on Nimitz, the Stennis, the Washington, the Kennedy, and two other ones I can't remember the name of. And I was on a destroyer, USS Spruance, CG.
Okay.
Then I was on the Gettysburg, that was a cruiser. And I was on a frigate, which is Clackring. And yeah,
That's amazing. You got a whole variety of ships.
5 years out at sea.
5 years.
Yeah.
That is incredible. I like going on the cruises. I love being at sea on these ships. I'm telling you, it's so cool, in my opinion. But one of the things I was going to say, Nimitz, isn't that thing nuclear powered?
Yep.
That's like hardcore.
Yeah, but now all the carriers are. Yep.
Then, yeah, it's standard for the carriers.
Yeah.
Now,
The
tell-
cruisers did it. Like, I think there was one cruiser that did it, and they tried to do it to an airplane.
Wow.
It's a little bit of a cooling problem for the nuclear on an aircraft flying around.
Yeah, the ships have all that seawater, so they can keep it under control and everything.
Yeah, they're running through heat exchangers. They're not mixing up the water as they go.
I would be real nervous being on something like that. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like, is it safe? Is it running?
I still glow at night.
Oh no. Oh no. Now the smaller ships you were on, isn't the destroyer a real small ship? Was that the smallest you were on?
No, frigate's the smallest.
The frigate.
Yeah.
How many feet long would that be?
You're gonna get me here. I can't remember.
Okay.
I could say 300.
It's
Not the
like
frigate would be smaller. I think the cruiser.
destroyer. How long?
I feel
would
bad
those-
because my service warfare, and I had to memorize all that stuff to get the qualification.
Okay.
And I want to say 300 and some feet.
Is that the destroyer?
Cruiser.
The cruiser.
Yeah, because the Nimitz is 1,076 feet or something like that.
The Nimitz is the size of a large cruise ship, believe it or not. Norwegian Breakaway, Carnival Venezia that I went on, those are over 1,000 feet. That's a big ship.
Yep.
But the smaller ones, those things, if they're around like 300 feet long, they're a lot narrower. That's the thing. As you go lengthwise shorter, it gets to be narrow.
Yep.
And did those roll around a lot when you were at sea?
Yep. Like the swells you were going in.
Yeah.
Well, you can go on YouTube and watch the videos of the cruiser where it goes underneath. The nose will go right into because
The wave goes over the bow.
like you keep saying wave, but really it's the swells. It's where the sea goes like this,
Yeah.
and so the ship is going over this stuff. And I guess they are waves, but they're the big hollow part where you're sinking into the ship. Yeah.
Because that's a smaller ship, and if stormy seas come up, man, you got to have it all the hatches closed, right? And you just hunker down inside the ship.
It depends how
If
bad.
you're
I
in
mean,
a
you'll have
storm.
you'll have the outdoor hatches done.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
Yeah, because they got different conditions. I don't want to get into all that of seaworthiness. And zebra's the tightest, where every fitting's closed and sealed off.
Yeah.
You're ready for war then.
Wow.
Yeah.
And those, they don't have any stabilizers, so they can go from side to side, right? They roll like
Well, no, the cruiser had it, but
the bigger ones have it.
yeah.
Okay.
and the newer fleet does have that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't. No, it ain't gonna stop it.
Nah. The cruise ship can, from side to side, the cruise ship really is pretty stable. It stays level, but you feel it shuddering when it hits those waves, and it goes like this, lengthwise. That's what I've noticed. I've been through storms on one cruise ship I was in, some kind of like
You
almost
had
a
a coffee cup
hurricane.
flying across.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, pretty much, guys. Dishes were falling over and breaking. We heard in the galley. We were in 35-foot seas, and there was 65-mile-an-hour winds on going back to New York on a cruise.
See, on a ship, when we knew a guy was going to get seasick or something like that, we'd go to breakfast with him. We'd get our eggs hardly even cooked, and the yolks would be sliding across on the plate.
Oh,
and he's turning,
no.
the dude's turning green. So that was our
Put
fun.
gas on the fire. Yeah, even on my cruise here in the calm Florida waters, there were guys wearing these patches for the motion sickness. I was really surprised. But if you get into a big storm when you're on the cruise ship, you know it's going to be a rough night. If you see them by the elevators, they put those little bags. That means the storm's coming up. They know what's going to happen. People, they don't want them to mess the carpet up.
Yep.
Yep. Well, what do you think, guys? Have we babbled on enough for you?
How long have we babbled?
I have no idea. I can't even, with my eyesight, I can't
50.
even see that. It's almost as bad as Tim's.
Yeah.
What are we up to? Is it an hour?
Over 50 minutes. I
Over
think.
50. Okay, yeah. That's not too bad. Do you have any more questions or any other topics?
Oh, the only question I was wondering, you still selling the DVDs?
Oh yeah, I used to do that. The automotive DVDs.
Yeah.
That was before. Nowadays, it's all done where you can email people the video or
Stream it to
whatever.
them,
You can
yeah.
do something like that. Yep. Ben's repairs.
He pulled me in one night. I was like, he's going to show me how to clean up these rims and stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to watching it, and all of a sudden he goes, buy my product here. I'm like, what? I said, oh man.
Support the channel. Was this before you even knew Tim?
No, I met you through, because I was telling you where to go to YouTube today.
Yeah.
And that'll pull in a lot of us guys.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's how you find New York Dan right there.
Yeah. You saw my automotive stuff from after you found New York Dan then?
Yeah, I seen you. I think you had mentioned.
I used to do automotive on YouTube.
Yeah, you mentioned some other channel. I was like, what other channel? So I went up and checked out your description, and I went over there and checked it out.
My Ben's products. But you know what the
Riveting,
thing is?
riveting. You got to get there and watch it.
No, you know what the thing is? The automotive stuff on YouTube is a joke. That channel, I never imagined how hard it is to get a channel monetized. That automotive channel would never get monetized. You'd have to be buying like a new car or doing a different project, a huge expensive project every week
You ever go
to get the
South Main Auto?
viewage up.
You ever go there? SMA?
Where is this?
SMA in New York. It's over by, it's on the western part of New York, upstate.
Upstate. No, probably not then.
He's on SMA. No,
SMA.
What do you call it? Well, shouting them out, I guess. But anyway, he does videos, and that's how he started. His garage was doing all right, but he wasn't doing real great. And he started doing videos, and it started clicking, taking off. And then his channel was helping support his garage, because he had like 3 bays. And then as you bring in different cars, right? He's bringing in a 2009 with this problem, or and then he's putting that in the header. And then if it's a common problem, and you do a search on YouTube, and you're like, my 2000.
All the videos come up, yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're popped up on him. That's how I found him.
That's true. Yeah, if you want to do a repair, you can like search now on YouTube and find out how to do all this stuff. But the thing of it is, those kind of channels, man, it's hard. You need so many thousands of hours of viewing and stuff to keep that going or to get popular. It's like a needle in a haystack. There's one guy I watch, No Nonsense Know How. He's over by like Pennsylvania, I believe. But he's got this, he made a whole garage up. He used to work at like a garage. That's how a lot of them get started, if you're doing it anyway. But it's like the amount of work that he does, I give that guy credit. That is hardcore work. He's working for every dime he makes on YouTube, that guy.
You can talk for a second. I'm
Okay.
just going to give you little stats on SMA.
He's getting some. He's looking it up right now.
SMA, he's got 943,000 subscribers. He's
Holy
approaching 1 million.
smokes.
Each video he does nowadays, 120,000 views.
Wow.
A video. So I mean, like, if I go to his playlist here, I'll show you. Take a second.
Well, you got to do it if you
Yeah.
want to be serious about running an automotive channel. You got to have over 100,000 views, because you can't just put a video out every day like Tim does.
And new vehicles every day. That's
Yeah,
why
you need a different car. There's another guy way out in Montana that he's got a big garage, and he was doing that. He's always buying a new thing, and he's got all this room out there to do it. So it's pretty cool. New York, forget it. I'm on like a postage stamp. I'm working. I can't store cars. My hands are tied.
well, that's where a lot of us people. I used to write Timmy comments. I say, Timmy, why don't you do this? Your stuff's getting a little boring.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's how I ended up getting blocked. But but if he just listened, right now he'd be over 100,000 subscribers. I guarantee you. But he was killing us, and we were, a lot of us were just trying to help him. And like I've mentioned recently, because he's getting this new, he got the new Honda, and I was like, hey Timmy, you did a real good job on that video, the review. I said, why don't you go to Hertz and rent a car for a day, do a review? I said, you could pop out a bunch of different cars. Or I said, why don't you get a contract with Nissan, where you go over to that Nissan dealer and you show them what kind of video you can produce, and produce it on the Ultima, each car, and then he'd be getting paid from them. Plus he'd make money from the videos.
That's one way to do it.
He could make a ton, but I don't want to help Timmy. I tried.
And you know what the thing is? The thing that Tim does, that damn Honda, first of all, it's not a Lamborghini. It's nothing exotic. It's a boring car. He pounds that video about that damn Honda. That's the only thing he's talking about, the only car. He'll film another one here and there if he sees some park. But enough with the Honda. That's not going to bring you any more subscribers. He's deadlocked. His subscriber count is just holding steady. It doesn't go up at all. He's dreaming. He said this year it will be 100,000.
Yeah, what he does,
not going to happen.
He sees these videos, right? Like he got on the gun kick, right?
Yeah.
So he went on these gun channels. He goes, oh, look what they're doing. He wants to steal their content. He talks about people copycatting. Well, he's copycatted Rusty. He's copycatted all these gun channels. He's everything Tim does is a copycat. And what he's doing now, he's in search for that next one-hit wonder. He's got his Social Security one, but he needs another one. And that's where he's driving them crazy. He can't figure it out.
That's what all that gun stuff's about on his channel. He's got to be exactly right on that. All of a sudden, he turned his channel into like a gun channel. And I remember him saying back when he was in like Nevada, he was mentioning something about, oh, I've seen channels on YouTube where they do gun reviews and they're very popular. And then the next thing, he's doing it all of a sudden on his.
Yeah. Yep. He's in search. That's what he's searching.
The whole thing is, a lot of people were excited. I was watching when he was doing that Western trip the first time, when he had that little trailer. And I'm like, oh, there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming up. We're going to see what he does. We never imagined that he would just stay on the interstate like that, point A to point B, stop at the gas station, stay overnight there. I thought he was going to be going down back roads and showing us different sites. Nothing. And then this thing, he's like, well, I went to a park. It's amazing, but I'm not allowed to view, not allowed to show you guys. I don't know. I think a lot of people were disappointed when he went back to Florida and he's just living stationary now. They tuned in. They were watching him because he did the RV life. And that got him to the point where the Social Security video took off because it was unique. He was living in a trailer, spending the minimal amount of money, on housing. And then he's like, well, if you keep your expenses low enough, you can retire early with Social Security. But now, if you notice, he's been trying to recreate that viral Social Security video, and he's done it. I've seen him do it like about a dozen times.
Yeah,
He does the same thing again.
Yeah, if you guys watch my cartoon videos, you'll see where recently I just went into this whole thing where his original content was he signed up for Social Security because he found out he was entitled to $1,500 a month. And he goes, you know what? For $1,500 a month, if I could find somewhere to live for $1,500 a month, I could work at Publix, a part-time job, and I could live in an RV. Or actually, he was going to live in that little garage of Teddy's, and that was the whole plan. And then he got lucky with the Social Security thing. That just popped up. But if that never happened, Tim would still live at Ted and Jolene's, working at Publix or doing a sample job here and there. And that was going to be the rest of his life. It wasn't for that viral video.
He got that viral video, but you know what? The viral video was like, it backfired on him because it went to his head. And
yeah,
now
that's true.
He's become pompous. He's like, I'm a big star. Do you know who I am? That's what he does. He goes around everywhere saying stuff like that. And Miss Tammy got all peed off. They were on the rocks. Love on the rocks, guys. That's what happened. And it's messing his life up because he's off the rails. He used to have his gig at Publix. He would live at Ted and Jolene's. Everything was mellow. Now, forget it. He's off the rails. Yeah, and that money's going to dry up real fast.
Yeah, if you go back to his beginning videos when he first moves in that, the wolf pup, and him and Tammy are just so happy, and it looked like they have a nice life. They're happy. They're happy together.
Yep.
And that money went all to his head. I mean, he used to have a drink every now and then, and he was still cooking the chicken tenders out on the grill. He was doing all that stuff, but you can see it in his face. He was happy. He's not happy anymore. And, which I've talked to Darlene about, Darlene Ape.
Yeah, I watched her channel.
Because everybody talks about Tammy getting the Botox. Well, if you go back to 7 years ago, when Tim started doing his videos, his forehead is all wrinkled up, crazy, right? 7 years ago. But now he's got this big balloon forehead with no wrinkles. Botox, baby.
He might have gone in. Hey, when you're a Hollywood star like that, you gotta do that kind of stuff. The thing is, he didn't take care of himself. He was out in the sun all the time in Florida. You gotta wear the big hat. You'll see me on the cruise. I always have that hat. You gotta take care of yourself. And now, I don't know, the last time I heard when I left New York, he was having this like a scan done to see about his heart and everything. Yeah, all that bacon and everything. That could backfire.
They're supposed to go in and check his veins now.
Yeah.
Coming up here, he's got that all planned.
Okay, he's getting that done.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know how healthy. That's an experiment, the carnivore diet. I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm not saying it's 100% either.
Well, that was the funny part. He's on the, well, everybody knows if they watch my show.
Yeah.
That he was convinced that you could eat all you want, all the bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just pile your plate like this, and calories didn't count. And then he started getting his gut.
Yep.
but calories do still count if you're on a carnivore. You can only eat so much. You can't eat more than you burn. You got to burn more. If you're going to lose weight, you got to burn more than you eat.
And if the meat isn't super lean, if you're eating fatty meat, that fat's a lot of calories. That will put on weight. I hate to break it to you, but if you want to lose weight, you're gonna have to be hungry. You're not gonna stuff your stomach. If your stomach's stretched out and it's big, your stomach's always gonna be hungry. There's no way you're gonna keep filling it and be satisfied, and then your weight's gonna go down. That's not gonna happen.
Dan's killing me. I come here and he orders this, and all you guys know me, I'm on a diet. He's got this big old nice club sandwich, onion rings. He hasn't even touched it yet.
That's a feast right there. I'm going to probably bring it with me on the road, guys, because the thing is, I had Eggs Benedict this morning on the cruise ship.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, right before I came over here, I had that. I'm just having coffee now. Otherwise, I'd be doing the interview and Dinger would have to do everything, and I'd be like having my mouth full with that sandwich.
When you got your Eggs Benedict on the ship, did you cut the yolk and it just oozed out of there?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Put in the fork.
The amount of Eggs Benedict that ship has got to make. They got them all out there. How they can have every one of them pretty much perfect in my eyes. And that is very.
I give them credit. I don't know how they do that. It's like a steamed egg. It's a real work of art. It's amazing, those cruises. The worst part about taking a cruise is getting off the cruise and adjusting to normal life. Because then you start getting hungry and you're like, wait a minute, what am I going to do now? You're so used to just walk to the restaurant on the ship, walk to the buffet, whatever you want, they got it. I could get used to living on a cruise ship. I'm not going to lie.
That's not like the Navy now. We weren't like that.
Nah, I'm
no
not
buffets.
I'm not hardcore enough for the Navy. I give them respect. That's, yep. I know there's guys in the fishing club I'm in that there's a guy there. He's over 80, and he's been in the Navy during the Vietnam era. Yup. Big Ed. We call him Big Ed. And he told me some hardcore stories. When he's in rough seas, he had to put his hand up when he walked so that his head didn't hit the ceiling from if the ship takes a dive. You had to go like this through the destroyer. Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah. You know, our rank, well, I've told you, if they watch my channel, I keep saying that, but I'm on your channel. But, you know, on our ship, your rack is almost 3 foot wide.
Okay.
Almost 6 foot long. And you got about this much room, 2 foot above you. And then you got your little space below that. That's where you keep all your stuff. And I was just telling them the other day, I said, I used to have nightmares. I did, because my feet would hang out the bottom. I'm a little,
okay.
And I used to envision somebody coming through there with a scalpel and slicing the bottom of your feet. I know it's a crazy dream. It never happened, but
man,
it's stuff that goes through your head.
So when you said rack, is this like a bunk where you sleep?
Yeah, there's 3 high.
Ship?
You got one on the bottom.
Okay.
Middle rack and the top rack. Middle rack, usually you've been in the Navy a while. Bottom rack, you just got there.
The new guy gets the new guy gets the worst conditions. You got to earn it.
You got to trace that up every morning.
And there's no cabin. You don't get a cabin.
Well, if you're an officer, you
only the captain, maybe.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So you just get a bunk essentially.
Yeah.
And then you get like a locker to keep your stuff.
Little locker to hang your uniform up in, about that wide, and everything else goes in your bunk.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's what it is, guys. But you'll learn a lot if you go in there. You'll get you can learn.
I'd do it again. I would do it again. That's
cool.
True.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I would. Now that I've been out on these ships, you see, when I was younger, I wasn't out on these cruise ships. That's why I would be a little scared off about the Navy, thinking, oh, you're in the middle of the ocean, you're on these ships.
Yeah.
But now that I've done the cruise ships, I'm like, you know what? If I was doing it over again, I might do Navy.
Well, see, it's funny. That's how I signed up, because before I went in the Navy, originally, I was in my over 300 pounds when I graduated high school. And I was
wow.
And I started losing weight, and they started that draft, right? And I was like, I wasn't thinking about signing up to the military. I was thinking, am I eligible for the draft now? I'm losing weight. So I went in there to just check on that. And the guy's like, hey, you want to take a test? I'm like, a test? Yeah, it's just a test. Just come on in. So I went and took this test. And I come back, and he said, oh, you're qualified for our nuclear program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I said, oh, really? He goes, okay. And he started going through it, where I had to sign up for 6 years. I was like, 6 years? When you know, so I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to sign up for 6 years.
Yeah,
There
that's
was
a
other,
commitment.
yeah, and there were other programs that he didn't tell me about. But anyway, that was a big scare, 6 years. So anyway, he goes, but you qualify for all these other rates because you scored so good. So I ended up going with hydraulics, aviation. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Which I think helped me because since I qualified at a higher tier, this was easier for me, way easier. So I always scored like almost 80, 78 and 80. The highest you can get on say your written exam was that was multiple choice. But the highest you can score was 80. And I used to get 76, 78. One time I got a 79. Almost perfect.
So that gives you like the VIP. You can like go into a specific field and like learn more detailed stuff.
Well, if you go to the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go in and try to. If you don't get a school, don't sign up.
Yeah. So okay. So when you go to the recruiter, they'll tell you
Yeah.
if you qualify to go to a school and get like special training.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I've had a lot of nieces and nephews that are going to sign up, and I said, well, if you're going to sign up, tell me you want a school, and they'll tell you if you qualified. Now, if you didn't qualify, you didn't score high enough, and they're trying to stick you in a seaman rate or just unrated, I wouldn't do it.
No.
You got busting, chipping paint and doing all that stuff.
I saw the guys on the cruise ship this morning doing that. I filmed it. That's a lot of work. But my question was, when you did this, did you know were you dealing only with Navy, or were they gonna be like, oh, you're qualified, we're gonna put you in the Marines, we're gonna put you in the Army?
See, I walked into in my hometown. They had a recruiting station, and they had all three of them.
Okay.
And I just happened to walk in the Navy. Oh, no, actually, no. I just walked in the Navy. When I got to the Navy, I found out they had an Airedale program. So it started clicking in my head, and I think the guys that the Airedales, they can't be on a carrier all the time. They can't. You can't fly in and out of a port.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up going to the aviation field, because I didn't want to be on the ship all the time. Now if you work AIMD, that's where you repair components, and so then you could be on a ship all the time.
Now you're saying Airedale program? That's what it's called?
No, aviation.
Aviation program. Okay.
Well, aviation side of the Navy. I mean, you could work on the ships. Nuclear out of been ship.
Yeah.
Ship's company. And then as far as aviation rating, you can be ship's company, but you can only work on components, right? Or fuel, fuelies, those guys, the resting gears. Those are kind of aviation, but they're aviation bosun's mates, I think they call them, if I remember right. It's been a while. I've been retired almost longer than I was in, so that's pretty good.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, depending upon what you want to do, you got to work with the recruiter on your own personal interests and see what kind of deal they can come up with for you. Don't just go there and say, you know what, put me on the front line. You're like, no, wait a minute, I'm good at doing a certain thing. I want to be trained. I'm going to work mechanics. Set me up with the training.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Dan. Before I went in the military, I went through technical school in our high school, where half of your day was English, math, and all that other stuff. And then we did 4 hours of diesel mechanics.
Yeah.
And people bring their cars in. We had a mock-up engine and all this other stuff. And I had to do our classroom, and then we did theory. But I did 4 years of that. And then my original plan was I was going to get hydraulics through the Navy, and then go on-site repair Caterpillar, or any of those big pieces of equipment. And I wasn't going to stay in for 20-some years anyway.
Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, one of my uncles actually repaired tanks during World War II. He worked on these massive engines in the tanks. One of them, he was telling me stories that they put like a whole bunch of Chrysler 6-cylinders together to make some kind of like an 18-cylinder engine or 24-cylinder. All kinds of stuff. You never know what you're going to do. I'm sure it's an adventure. So, what do you think? Did we babble on enough?
I think we're there.
I think so.
I'm drained.
It's hard. It's harder than it looks. It's easier to watch it on TV or on YouTube. It's the same for me. It's TV at my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, this has been an adventure. I'm having a blast in Florida, and the trip is just getting started. Yup. Just got to Florida, crossed over the Georgia line into Jacksonville. Now I'm going to go explore more of Florida. And unlimited miles I got. Hell, maybe I'll even go to Key West. And definitely, I'm going to show you some of the, we're going to go on a Sarasota Tim landmark tour and see if we can meet the man, the legend, the pompous. Do you know who I am?
He's gonna do some. He might even do some stealth camping. He brought his carbon monoxide.
I was doing that stuff too.
Yeah. Yep. Gets down there in the heat. He can get back in the back, get the air conditioner rolling, cover up in his blanket.
I got the stuff to do it. Yep. I'm like Steve Wallace does this. He's got a huge YouTube channel. Yeah, and all he does is stealth camping. That's how he got big.
Dan will wake up in the morning. He'll say, "Oh, had the air conditioner rolling all night." He'll slide up in the front. He'll say, "Well, it seems a little lower." You'll look outside and the Gator's got all 4 tires.
Oh man. You never know. The night I stayed in Jacksonville, I'm in Florida, it's hot out. I left the windows on a crack. I woke up at 3 in the morning. I was freezing cold, like shivering. It got down probably in the 40s or something. The whole thing was ice cold. Had to start the car up, warm it up, close the windows. I'm gonna need like a camping stove or something. I'm gonna have to borrow Tim's fire pit if it doesn't warm up around here. Well, anyways, guys, hit the thumbs up for us. I should have said that before. I don't know if I did.
I might be able to get him to put up a link for me. Dinger for You. That's my whole channel thing. Dinger for You at YouTube.
Yeah.
And if you just look at hashtag Dinger for You, all my crap pops up.
Now I got one last question. Just one more thing, like Columbo says.
One more thing.
I'm just curious. I don't know if you want to share it or not, but your name on the channel is just a handle, Dinger. Do you ever mention your real name? Just your first name?
Just Dinger.
You want to go by Dinger?
Dinger.
Okay. There it is. There it is. And the same thing, I always do this. I ask, what's your name? I said that with blind views. What's his name?
You're just Dan, ain't you?
That's my real name. I said that with blind views, and I think people have told me his name is actually Lonnie, believe it or not. And then the grifter, I don't know what his name is. He never mentioned it. Mark?
I think it's Mark.
He did mention that. Okay.
Finally, yeah.
Some of the people mention their names. But we'll go with Dinger.
Yeah, just Dinger.
All right, guys. So, yeah, check his channel out when you want to see some of the Sarasota commentary. I usually put a list of them. Darling has this list of channels, and I usually put that in. If I do commentary, I put it in the channel.
You're in my list. I got a list of all those from the Truther channels.
Yeah.
And he, I'm blank again. See what happens to me? Go ahead.
It's a tough interview. Yeah, when you do this stuff, like we didn't do notes, kind of like what Tim does, right? But it is hard to do, to keep it rolling and keep everything in order. Usually the best thing is to have notes to prepare. So we did what we could. We tried our best today, and it's been an experience. It's been cool. I've got to see Jacksonville here. It's exciting to meet people from the community, the Sarasota community, so to speak. We'll see. We're just getting started. We'll see who else pops up on the channel.
Yeah. I just started taking the brain pill. I'm hoping it helps my memory click like it used to. Anyway.
Yeah, I take a lot of supplements too. I'm going to be going over those on the channel.
No soda. It's bad for you.
No, that I don't. I've been not drinking any soda. Nope. It's too much. The diet, you can't win. The diet soda has like benzene compounds. It's in the preservatives. And then the regular sugar soda, that's, if you got high blood sugar or pre-diabetic or whatnot, that's like the kiss of death.
Kidney stones too.
Oh, really? From the sodas?
Well, yeah, the caramelization. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I got off. I mean, I occasionally I still have a soda, but I'm mostly H2O. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I do. Or I put tea in there, a tea bag to flavor it. You got green tea, you got Earl Grey. There's a lot of good flavors to use. You'll get used to it not having all that sugar. So you heard it here first on our health channel. Yeah, that's what we're doing now. All right, guys. Hey, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad to meet you, Dinger.
Glad to meet you,
Greetings.
Dano. I keep calling him Dano.
That's okay. Hawaii 5-0. I like that show. McGarrett. I know. I've watched the show. I'm not. People think I'm not young, but I've seen it. All right, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Who knows where we're gonna pop up? Tim, let me know where you're at. Give me the directions. I'll be seeing you.